All right, what's up? How's it going, guys? I'm your host, Jacob Nestor, and we are in the closet. I came out to the world, but I'm back in the closet to talk about some movies. And as always, I'm joined by my constant co-host, Nick Sailing. How's it going, man? It's been way too fucking long. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
we've missed like
I
a
think we missed,
well over like a month, I think.
yeah, we missed two full episodes, I think. It's a bi-weekly show, so
So
it's
it's
been
like
a
3 weeks
fucking
or
minute.
something.
Obviously, I got a little bit of explaining to do. It's been a crazy little while. I really did not want to have to stop the podcast. I had some personal life stuff going on that was just crazy dealing with that while also trying to settle into a new job. And then during all that, my laptop dies, and so I couldn't work on the podcast. I couldn't work on any of the short films I have sitting waiting to be edited, and I lost a bunch of footage as well. And it was super fucking lame, but I finally got my laptop back like beginning of this week, and I've just been super eager to get back into the podcast. Obviously, we're just hopping right back in with the topic that we were going to do on the last episode that we missed, which is a double feature on the movie Her and Lost in Translation. For the topic, we're going to try to keep it spoiler free as much as we can, just talking about the similarities of these two movies and why we picked them as the double feature. And then in the review section, obviously, full spoilers reviewing both of those movies. And I really want to start doing more double features like this in the future because I think it is just a interesting way to talk about movies. Pairing them up like this, I think, is really fun to do. And so this is the first one that we're doing. I'm excited to get into that. But before all of it, obviously, we got to go into the notable watches section, just talking about what we've watched. There's way too much to talk about over the past few weeks that we've watched because I know me and you both have just grinded a fuck ton of movies because obviously it's been
Yeah.
double the length between the last podcast, so I won't get anywhere near talking about everything that I watched. But I'm probably gonna just do a brief little mention of everything, just because it's been so long since we've done this. Um, but I definitely will try and keep it shorter than I used to when we first did this podcast. But anyway, you want to start out with that? What you've been watching, man?
Wait, shit, I kind of forgot how we did this.
It's been too long.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. We do like notable watches, right?
yeah.
Okay.
The um,
I'm trying to
just
see.
five movies. I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna talk more about five movies, but I'm just gonna bring up all the other ones
Let
that
me
I've
just look
watched
over
just
what I've
because.
seen. I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. I'm gonna talk briefly about this. I've been actually mostly watching horror. Um,
As always.
for the first time, yeah, for the first time, I watched the Paranormal Activity series. Only like up until the fifth movie. And I actually skipped the fourth movie, but I watched the first three,
Hmm.
which were the ones that were recommended to watch before I watched Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, which is I wanted to knock this one off because this is a Christopher Landon movie who did Happy Death Day, Happy Death Day
That's
to
right. That's
You,
right.
and recently Freaky, and I love all those movies. So I was like, I'm gonna check this out. It's found footage, and I have a little. I'm kind of a slut for found footage, whether regardless if it's bad or not. So I was like, I'll check it out. So I had to watch the first three movies to understand like the lore about the world and shit. And honestly, they're fine, I guess, for the most part. I thought the ending to the third one was really good. If you like Hereditary, you'll probably like it because it's got Hereditary vibes. But I actually skipped the fourth movie because I just heard it was bad, and I kind of just read the synopsis and figured it out on my own. So I
Yeah.
went to Paranormal Sorry,
I just said that's funny. That's funny.
I just didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, it's
It looked really
understandable.
bad.
Uh,
So I watched Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, which is the one I wanted to watch all along,
mhm.
and I loved it.
Nice.
It's a really good uh, found footage movie. It's kind of got shat on. I'm looking at Letterboxd right now. It's
Damn.
kind of got shat on by them, but I dug it quite a bit. I told Jacob this, but it's like a kind of a soft sequel or like a chronicle reboot almost in a way. It's got elements of that, so I thought that was a fun watch and definitely recommend. Honestly, you probably could watch this movie without having watched the rest,
Yeah.
but you'll definitely get more out of it. Yeah, you definitely could,
Okay. Okay.
but Let's see. I watched a 2021 movie called Wrong Turn. In fact, this is the Wrong Turn reboot
Haven't heard of this at all.
to the infamous Wrong Turn series, which I believe there's 7 movies of, including this one. So that makes 8.
I don't think I've heard of this
Um,
at all. What is this?
yeah. Oh, have you not heard about the 2021 reboot of this?
I haven't. I don't even think I've heard of the original. I have no idea what this is.
Wrong Turn is like an infamous series where basically teens, college kids gets take a wrong turn in like some back neck hillbilly woods and are terrorized by cannibals. And the whole series basically revolves around these 3 like fucked up looking cannibals. And they're definitely cult. They have a cult following for sure, but I never really liked them. Even the first one, I never really got. But the Wrong Turn reboot. This is a Mike P. Nelson movie, who did another movie I watched called uh, The Domestics that came out a few years ago.
Okay.
It was like a purge, uh, like battle royale type beat movie. It was pretty interesting. But he comes through with the second movie, and it's the reboot. And I got to be honest, I really enjoyed this as well.
Nice.
I wasn't expecting anything from it really, but it came through with some really decent performances, really really good like effects and gore effects. That one of them I was like very shocked that they were able to pull off.
Nice.
Matthew Modine's in it. He plays a pretty uh, engaging father role in this movie, because basically the movie starts with his daughter's him looking for his daughter and her friends because they made a wrong turn on some trail and they were not found for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's I won't spoil it because
Of course.
um, they do something other than man eating cannibals.
Ooh. Okay.
So
Okay. Okay. I'm
it's a
interested.
little bit of a
It sounds
twist,
a little bit
and
wacky, but I'm
I,
interested.
I I I dug it quite a bit.
Nice. Nice.
Let's see. I want to talk about some good shit.
Good. I'm excited.
Uh,
I'm thinking.
fucking, I watched What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh my
That's fucking
god, dude.
amazing.
That movie's
Um,
so good.
this is
That's
the
probably
first
my
time I watched
favorite
it.
mockumentary. I haven't seen that many
Probably.
mockumentaries to be fair, but it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
one of my favorite
I've only seen a
movies, just period
handful.
though. Taika
Yeah,
Waititi is so good and it's definitely my favorite movie that he's done, honestly. It's such a great movie.
it's pretty incredible. In fact, I actually watched the short film that they
Hmm.
did originally, and
Yeah, it's cool.
it's so funny.
Have you seen
It's
the
even
spin-off show?
so actually the first thing I watched was the show. I actually didn't watch the movie or the short
Oh,
before,
okay. I haven't
and
seen the
I
show though,
caught the show on FX and I watched like the first 5 episodes, and I liked it, but I was like, I gotta watch the movie eventually, and
for
I
sure.
just never did. And they're on their second season now, and I think they just got renewed for a third and fourth
Yep,
season.
yep.
So
I've
they're
heard
killing
really good
it.
things about it. I've heard really good
Yeah,
things
and I've
about it.
heard excellent things about the
I don't know
second
why I
season.
haven't
So
gotten around to watching it because I've
hmm
been a fan of What
it's
We Do in
on.
the Shadows for so
I think
long.
it's on Hulu. So
It is. Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
I
I'll
just need to do it.
probably watch it.
I just need to do it.
Some more good. Uh, Shout out to the Endless really quickly. This is one of my favorites from 2017 about a UFO death cult. It's awesome.
Hmm.
I think it's leaving Netflix. I'm pretty like 99% sure I saw it was leaving Netflix, so I was like, definitely go watch this before it's gone.
Nice.
Um, some really really good. The Father. This is nominated for like 6 Oscars or whatever.
Including Best Picture.
I actually didn't even know this when I watched it.
Yeah.
I just watched it because I was like, I need to go see a movie, and this is the first thing I saw. And it was fucking great. Anthony Hopkins, Olivia Colman. Uh, Basically, it's like you're in the head of Anthony Hopkins, who's kind of a senile, old British guy who probably has some form of dementia, and you kind of see the world through his eyes. And unfortunately, it's like super fucked up and just confusing and utterly frustrating. And it can be hard to watch sometimes, but fucking Hopkins delivers such an incredible performance that it's hard to not praise this movie because motherfucker is old as shit and is still delivering some of his best work. And nominated for six Oscars, I believe it was Best Picture. Coleman and Anthony Hopkins got Coleman got Best Supporting Actress. Anthony Hopkins got uh, actor in a leading role, and I want to say they got editing and
Yeah. I can't remember all the shit they got. Yeah, like lead, supporting, editing, production design,
yeah.
picture, writing. I think that's it.
I think they get a writing for yeah.
Mhm.
But anyways, it was fucking amazing. It's a really short movie too. It's like an
Yeah,
hour and 20 minutes. I want to say.
I really need to go see it.
Um,
There's a theater, a few theaters that are open in the areas where Nick and I live, and so we've been
mhm.
lucky enough to be able to
We
go
have been
there.
lucky. We've been
And
blessed.
it's been great. I sadly haven't seen The Father yet. I really need to. It's still playing at the theater, so I got a little bit more time, but I need to fucking do it before it leaves because
Definitely.
you know it's
And
Judas
this
and the
is
Black
like
Messiah on
I
FMX. So
do be safe, and if you decide
absolutely.
not to go to a movie theater, that's completely fine,
Hmm.
and you're totally valid for not wanting to go.
Yeah.
But The Father, if you really want to see a movie in theaters right now, The Father is um beautiful to look on
Hmm.
screen. So
And just on that
just
as
visually.
well, like obviously, check out your theater first, maybe, and see if it's safe if you want to. The theater that I know Nick and I went to both, I think is a really, really safe theater, really clean theater, and they do a really good job at taking COVID precautions. So,
Hmm.
um, you know, if you have the opportunity, and also I'm vaccinated, so that feels good. So I'm not too worried about it.
Lucky
But
motherfucker.
but anyway,
Hmm.
it's definitely great to see movies back in theaters, and I'm definitely gonna catch up on The Father alongside a bunch of other things that are playing that I just
Isn't
need to
what's it
go.
fucking Kong Skull Island going to be in theaters tomorrow? Isn't
Godzilla
that a
versus
new one?
King Kong. But is that tomorrow?
Yeah.
That comes out tomorrow, dude. I really want to see
Is
that
it?
shit. So I'm
I'm
fucking
not going to see that in
fuck
theaters.
you, dude. I don't know
Yeah.
why you wouldn't see that in theaters. That's
So
the only place where that
I
movie
saw
would
what
be
was the
like
last
fun.
one? The Godzilla 2 or whatever.
Yeah,
I
King
saw
of
that in
Monsters.
theaters and I was like very disappointed by it. So,
Man, that movie's fun as
I'm
fuck.
okay with
I'm so
watching it.
loser.
As beautiful as like those movies are, for the most part, visually they're stunning, but I just like I don't get it. I just want to see big monsters fight and they want to give me human emotion and I don't care for that. So, that's my criticism about that
Yeah.
series. Anyways,
They
um,
Kong comes out on the 31st though, which is not tomorrow.
okay.
But you know what is
Well,
out tomorrow at our theater is Nobody, that Bob Odenkirk movie. Have you not heard about that?
uh,
The
I don't
trailer like
think so.
blew up on YouTube. It's like a John Wick esque style movie with Bob Odenkirk, basically. But it looks
I
really
think I
fucking
might
fun.
have seen like a poster for that or
It's right up
something
your alley.
recently.
I really want to watch it, and I'm probably gonna take my dad to go see that because that's right up his alley
Okay,
as well.
cool.
Definitely a dad
Is
movie.
it just Bob Odenkirk just being a badass? Is that what it
Yeah,
is or
yeah.
what?
It's called Nobody
Okay.
because he's like a nobody and he's like fucking up people, and it's like, he comes on like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm nobody." It's like, whoa. That's the whole
They've had these
that's the
like
whole shtick,
they've had
yeah.
Hollywood's come out with these recent like what if Taraji P Henson was like John Wick? Like so this is kind of interesting and you know what? So from what I've seen, I feel like it pulled it off, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't know. So
yeah.
I'll
People
be
are liking
interested to
this
see
movie,
this.
so I'm excited to see it.
I'm looking at the poster right now and I'm like already digging the vibe. So
Absolutely.
um
Yeah.
all right.
Anyway,
Cool.
back to
I
what
just
you've
want to
been
mention
watching.
one more
Yeah. Okay,
movie.
for sure.
If you want to see the what I've seen, I haven't really. I need to start doing reviews more. I just like
You're
just
so
not
bad
really
at
motivated
Letterboxd.
to do them.
So you always tell me
But
about how many movies you watch, and then I see you log like once a week. I'm like, this
yeah,
son of a
I
bitch.
like really bad at doing that, and I always like group log it too. It's not good, but if you want to see other shit I've seen, check out my letterbox. One thing I wanted to mention though is Promising Young Woman.
Let's
I
talk
actually
about
watched
this.
this
Yep.
twice. Once at the beginning of March, I watched it on, uh, excuse me, Amazon Prime, and I actually watched it with Jacob last week
Yep.
in
Yep.
uh,
Me and
in
Nick
a
went to the
COVID safe
theater.
movie theater.
Yep, we went to the theater. We saw Promising Young Woman. It was my first time
Yep.
watching it. Let's talk about this a little bit because
Yeah, we can do that.
this movie's been pretty controversial online, honestly. A lot.
Wait, what?
Okay,
I've
controversial in
seen
the sense of
only love for it.
lots of people love it or they hate it. I've seen a lot of hate towards this movie. Um, and I
Why?
know I'm definitely on the
What
side
are
of
like
loving
big
this movie.
examples?
I mean, the issues mainly is the writing of the movie. A lot of people just think the writing's really bad and pompous and
Hmm.
like way too girl bossy and like just not good and like at all, basically. But
It was
I
definitely like
definitely
girl
disagree.
boss shit,
I
but
mean,
I thought it was
I mean,
good. Like
it
I
was
didn't think it was
definitely. I mean,
bad.
kind of, but I wouldn't say so. I definitely, obviously, Nick and I are in the camp of really liking this movie, and I think I even like this movie more than Nick did. I really did love this movie. And a big reason for me is the writing, personally, and I just think this
Hmm.
movie is so rich, honestly, mainly because of the script and Carey Mulligan's performance and how those two interact with each other. This whole movie just feels like a battle. Every single scene is a battle between two things, whether it's two characters, two different moral dilemmas, two different story beat dilemmas, stuff like that. Every single scene, there's always a conflict going on of two massive differences, but it shows how they really can affect each other and live in the same space together, kind of. And it really, I think it fully understands every single side of every single conflict that it tries to tackle, and it makes it really interesting to watch, and it makes it honestly frustrating at times when they take it into certain areas. Certain story beats happen that you really don't want to happen, or certain things happen that's just like maybe a little bit too fucked up, honestly. But I think it
Yeah,
really
this
fits
movie
because of
takes
the
fucking
world and
risks.
the stuff that they build. I think it really works together. There were definitely parts in the movie where I was hesitant. I'm like, this could go really bad. I don't know how I felt about that scene, but the way the following scenes would build off of each other so perfectly, I couldn't help but love it. It was just way too engaging throughout and really fluid with the way that it wanted to tell its story. And like, it's just such a fun movie, honestly, at times too. There's great humor in this. It's like a really quirky movie with its direction. And I've talked about this in the past with certain other movies of where they do heavily contrasting of really quirky worlds with like the most fucked up and like hard to deal with human situations, and like using those to kind of tell a story in a movie is really interesting. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is the big example I talked about on our Fincher podcast. And this movie does that same type of thing. And I think the way that those two interact, the strange quirkiness, the chapters popping up on the screen, the really bright colors, the fucking Bo Burnham calling her like, okay, shut the fuck up and let me compliment you, like shit like that. Like those weird beats allow it to allow those really important topics to um, just be a lot more fluid, I think, and just get expressed in just a more interesting way that I
You
find really
fucking
engaging.
you fucking fell in love with Bo Burnham
I
in this
did.
movie.
I hard fell for Bo Burnham in this movie. I always talk about how great Carey Mulligan's performance is earlier, and the whole movie basically just like transfers you into her mindset. The whole movie, um, you're basically just feeling the emotions with her as she's going along. Um, and I definitely felt every single emotion that she was feeling. every conflicting emotion inside of her throughout the movie, including like the deep love that she felt for Bo Burnham, and then with what happens later in the movie and how that relationship progresses, um, caught me off guard in an interesting way.
Don't spoil
And
it.
I know I'm not. And so I just thought
Yeah.
he was so good. He was a great character, and
This
it
is
was
like
definitely the highlight of the
this.
movie for me. Some of those romance
I
scenes in the
agree.
middle,
I
which
agree.
is
I think
kind of
actually,
weird to say.
as good as Carey Mulligan is in this, sometimes I feel like Bo Burnham steals the whole scene.
I agree.
Um, and like I want to say this is the first time I've ever seen him in like a leading role.
Yeah, this is definitely his
Um,
biggest role in like a
because
feature thing.
I've
I
always
was
seen
really
him in
surprised
like
because
small parts.
I'd heard him. I'd heard like buzz about how he was a supporting actor in this movie and how people loved him and shit like that. And from what I heard about the movie, I'm like, oh, he's just gonna be one of the asshole exes that she like kills or some shit. I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
this movie's
I
about.
didn't even know he was
And
in this
then
movie.
and then he's in like fucking 40% of the movie. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah,
this is
he is
crazy.
essentially, I would
Like
say, one of the main
he's
characters.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's really cool. Um, and he's just one of the many really well fleshed out side characters in this movie. Another reason why this movie just feels so nice to watch is all of the really interesting side characters are so well fleshed out, and it makes all of their battles and interactions just so much more engaging and add just so much more depth to every single scene. I think.
agree.
Yeah, sick ass movie, and it
Good movie.
deserves those Oscar nominations. I don't. It's probably gonna end up winning best screenplay, and
I think Carey
I
Mulligan's gonna take that. I think she's gonna take the
Carey Mulligan
leading.
is probably gonna win the Oscar, but
I think so.
it
It's either her or McDormand.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Um,
I think it's leaning towards Carey Mulligan though.
it's tough though. Yeah. We'll see how SAG pans out. How those awards pan out to see more towards the acting shit, but
Not me.
whatever.
I never pay attention to this fucking SAG. What the fuck?
I love doing that shit. I hate you. Whatever. We'll talk about this when we do our Oscar nominations episode.
Okay.
We'll do that. That will be
What?
the episode the week before the podcast, or sorry, the week before the Oscars. That's when we'll do our Oscar nominations episode, and then in the next podcast we'll just like talk about who won out of us. My cousin Cooper's gonna be on that episode because he's really big into following the
Nice.
Oscar season like we are. So it'll be fun.
Cool.
It'll be fun. That'll be a fun episode. But
We should.
yeah, I think Minari deserves a screenplay, but fucking whatever. I think Minari's the best, but I'll talk about that
Haven't
more in a
seen it
minute.
yet.
But Promising Young Woman's great, and
Ever?
it deserves most all the Oscar nominations it got, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm really happy I like this movie because I was scared to see it because it's a tough movie.
Yeah, it's good, and it's got a really funny scene with a fedora in it that really caught me off guard,
That's a fact.
and I thought it was very funny.
Anyway, is that all the movies you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, I could go on forever,
Of course,
but
of
I just
course.
wanted to mention those
Right
five.
on. I'll move on
I'll-
into
yeah.
my list then.
Do it.
As I was just talking about, I want to talk about Minari. This was the first movie I watched after we did the David Fincher podcast, so it's been kind of stewing in my mind for a while. I also didn't mention this earlier. I forgot to. I started that TikTok. I started the TikTok for this, where in the notable watches section, we're only trying to talk about 5 every single week that we've been watching, but I want a way to quickly talk about every single movie that I watch. So I'll be doing that on the TikTok. I obviously haven't done that in the past few weeks because of everything that's been going on, but I am going to resume doing that. But the first review that I did post, which got a lot of love, shout out to everyone who watched the TikTok. They kind of blew up more than I expected them to, which is kind of weird. But the first review I did on there was for Minari, and if you
Are you doing the Fortnite dances when you're reviewing Minari? Jacob, you're gonna blow the fuck up if you do that. I swear to God.
I'll do it in the next.
If
one.
you're
I'll do
not
it for the
flossing,
week,
when if you're not flossing while reviewing The Father, I'm gonna be very upset.
No, I will do that. I'll do
Um,
that for the next one. I promise. Don't
yeah,
worry.
okay,
Don't worry. Just for you.
okay,
Absolutely
thank
will.
you.
But if you did watch my TikTok on Minari, you'll see that I was obsessed with this movie. I think it is absolutely perfect. If I'd watched it before we made our year lists, which there is no possible way I was able to, it definitely would have been like my second favorite movie of the year. It's just so perfect in my eyes, and as of right now, like man, I wanted to sweep everything at the Oscars. It's such a special and perfect movie. It's just about family and love and accepting help and care in all aspects and what that truly means. And it's about just so much more than that as well. It's such a rich,
Now,
loving movie
Jacob,
that,
the Fast and Furious franchise also talked about family and friendship
oh
and the
my
importance
god,
of.
dude.
So,
Did you see fucking they just announced that they cast Vin Diesel's son in the next
what?
Fast and Furious movie.
What the
Yes.
fuck? Wait, how old is this kid?
No idea. No idea. I
It'd be funny
literally
if
only
his
saw
kid
the
was
headline.
like,
I'm like, bet.
"Oh Jesus,
It's
what
so
the
funny.
fuck?"
They need to stop that
I thought they were
franchise.
done after the next movie. What the fuck?
Yeah, we were hoping, but alas, it's not sadly.
Jesus.
But
Yeah, I'm still waiting for them to like Hollywood to like spend the budget to somehow revive. Never mind. That's a dark
fuck
joke. I'm
off,
not gonna
fuck
say
off. I
that.
don't even know what you're gonna say, and I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it was bad. I know what you're gonna
I know,
say.
I do know what you're gonna say. Actually, I
Yeah,
don't
let's
want
move
you to.
on. Let's move on.
Anyway, Minari's amazing.
It's not that
Minari's great.
funny.
Minari's wonderful. Um, I love Minari. It's playing at theaters near you. Go fucking check that shit out because Minari is
Or not,
wonderful. Um,
because I think it's leaving theaters after this week.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll come on streaming sometime soon, though. I really hope it
It
does.
already is, or maybe it left. I don't know.
I don't think it is, but hopefully soon if it's not. But yeah, Minari is perfect.
Hopefully
I love
soon.
that movie to no end. And the next movie was the next one I watched or I did on my TikTok before I fell off the face of the earth for 3 weeks, which was Nomadland. And I know Nick watched Nomadland recently
I
too, so
did.
we'll talk about that. And as well, if you saw my TikTok on this movie, I did not like this movie. I was not a big fan of it, and I'm just really disappointed. I'm really sad. I really wanted to like it. There's obviously a lot of really big buzz around it. It's probably going to win Best Picture and a bunch of other different Oscars. It's actually insane.
I don't think it's gonna win Best Picture.
It
I'd be very
it
surprised
literally
if it
just
did.
won at the PGAs yesterday, the Producers Guild Awards,
Yeah.
which predicts
If it
Best
wins at
Picture
the
like
if it
every
wins
single
Best
time.
Picture, I might be pretty upset.
It's won Best Picture at every single precursor so far.
Mm.
So and
Mm.
Chloe Zhao's won Best Director at every single precursor so far as well. So
I think it's pronounced Chloe Chow. I
Chloe
want to
Zhao.
say.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just found that. I just found out about this.
Mm.
I call
Yeah.
her.
So, sorry if I
So
pronounce anything wrong. We pronounce names wrong all the time on here.
it's okay. We're stupid.
Sorry. We're trying our best. We're dumb Americans. But um,
Speak for yourself,
yeah,
white
I gotta
boy.
say, yeah, the big reason I didn't like this movie though was Zhao's direction. I just thought it felt really inauthentic and weak, and it really felt like it was trying to mimic documentary film style in a way. The way that we had complaints about Mank having like the edited film shit and to make it look like it was shot on film, even though it clearly wasn't. That's how this movie felt with documentary filmmaking and trying to put in aspects of it to make it seem like it was a documentary, but in reality it wasn't. And it was really glaring in a lot of times and really just sucked a lot of emotion out of every single scene alongside the really weirdly placed music cues. I just really felt nothing for this movie. I'm gonna give it another chance. I'm gonna rewatch it before the Oscars, just because, like I said, I think
Didn't
it's
you
gonna
also
end up
say you were
sweeping.
like you weren't a fan of the quote unquote poverty porn
Yeah,
in this
it definitely
movie?
feels a little bit like poverty porn in a way.
Hmm.
Um, and like they show her like working at like Amazon warehouses and shit like that, and like don't say anything bad about Amazon. And it's like, obviously you don't
Yeah,
need to say bad,
it's
you don't need to
very,
touch
it's
on
a
every
very.
single bad thing in a movie, but why just don't include her working at Amazon? Why would you put that in there? This is a fictitious character. This isn't one of the real characters in the movie, like Swanky, who's basically just playing herself. Like,
Apparently McDormand was all method, and during the process, most of the people she was filming with, including the live action people, or not the live, oh god, the real people, the non actors in the movie, didn't even know that she was there. As they thought she was just a regular like nomad or like them.
yeah,
Um,
I don't know. That feels weird.
and that's where the documentary feel
Yeah,
comes from. It
yeah.
100%.
I obviously like they did
Uh,
aspects of documentary filmmaking in it for sure. It's just like it like I
I'm
said,
confused.
it just kind
I'm
of feels
like
like
kind of
really boring.
confused. You said you didn't like that part, like where it felt like a documentary, or you just
Oh,
didn't
I
like the
didn't
way
like
that
it because of just
like
the
it was.
way that it was like integrated. It felt just really
Can
fake
you
and like would
can like which aspects? I'm sorry. I'm like trying to
no, I
understand.
see. It mainly kind of comes down to like camera movement and staging primarily. When you're talking about documentary
Hmm.
filmmaking, there's a really honestly specific style to it. It's not like a style that you need to follow. It's just a style that comes with documentary filmmaking, just like the setting and like what's happening while you're shooting forces certain aspects to come out in the movie, and it felt like those aspects in this movie were like reproduced, you know? It's they
Mm.
didn't feel like they had to do this thing because they were shooting a documentary. It's like, all right, we're gonna like meticulously make this to make it seem like this kind of documentary feeling, but in reality, it
And you were just like a fan of how it was executed. I would
yeah. I mean,
say
it's just how the movie
mm,
was executed. It just
I
didn't
I
connect
would
with me.
say a
It just zapped
better
television.
example
But
of that documentary feel in in a fictitious movie is The Sound of Metal, which came out and is
yeah, and Sound of Metal does, dude. Sound of Metal doesn't even try and go for that. It's not like really trying to go for
it
that,
doesn't,
but like
but there's
it
been
does
moments in
though.
that movie where it feels like it.
Yeah,
It's so insane.
that yeah, that's a good example. A movie
Yeah.
like this is a way far out example, but I'm gonna fucking say it. Surfs Up, which is a fucking mockumentary, has more
It is a
moments that feels like
documentary.
an actual documentary and doesn't, even though it's literally animated, it's obviously completely scripted and completely made up and fictitious. It still feels more authentic to its characters and the emotions and the things that they're trying to explore than Nomadland does. You know, I don't know.
Fair points.
It's just not my
I
thing.
definitely liked it. I definitely liked it a little bit more than you. I'll speak on it just a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
I liked it a little bit more than you, but there are many things in this movie that just like took me out or just bugged the hell out of me. Starting with that Amazon shit, I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah.
Obviously, there was like a payment for some logo, so and you're like, what's? It's kind of weird.
It was very
And
uncomfy.
it was like I don't know. It just felt very icky. Also, I already mentioned this to you, but I'll mention it on the podcast. Uh, the director did many filling, like filling scenes of just like back back shots of the van going through like hills with goddamn really like generic
It's
ass
just the
piano
most
music.
boring fucking
Um,
music on earth. Dude, the music in this
it's
movie
like
was so
this
bad.
happens
And
like multiple times during the
it's a
movie.
big reason that like so many of the scenes feel so fake, honestly. And like they're like example of that, of like the biggest example is like Swanky's telling this like really emotional story, and it's like finally pulling me into the movie, and then this like horrible music cue starts, and I just like am out of it, just done.
Oh, I don't remember that. Interesting.
But yeah, that's just one of the examples of one of the thing that you're talking about, of just like horrible
Mm-hmm.
music and just like boring ass shots that feel meaningless and just add to the
It
I
wasn't
don't
that it
know
felt meaningless to
redundancy in the
me,
movie.
and also I also thought most of the cinematography in this movie was excellent.
Yeah,
But it was just like multiple scenes of just filler. It felt like transitioning, like it was like a transitions like moment for the movie, and the director was like, oh, we'll just fucking enter it here and here, and it was like very strange to me. Like anytime she was like time would pass or like I don't know. It was also, that was also another issue I had with the movie. It was very hard to tell how much time was passing.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was very like dreamlike in ways. I don't know.
yeah.
I liked it, but the movie's got issues. And
And it's gonna sweep the
um,
Oscars.
if it does, I might be kind of upset, but
I'm
we'll see.
gonna be like my
I
predictions
do
might
think Frances
change,
McDormand
but honestly,
was
right
great in
now
it though.
I'm probably gonna end up going with picture, director, screenplay. It's under
Jesus
adapted.
Christ.
Editing, probably cinematography.
Editing's gonna go to fucking The
Maybe
Father for sure.
it might go to. I hope
Oh,
editing
it's
go.
told.
I hope
You gotta
editing
watch that
goes to
movie,
sound
and
of
then you'll
metal.
see.
Right now, I'm on editing. I'm on sound of metal, getting fucking sound editing, sound mixing, and film editing. That'd be so nice. Or
I can see
they
sound
made
mixing.
the
I can see
sound one
mixing and
category,
editing for
but
Sound of Metal, but The Father sweeps it away.
that's fair. That's fair.
Any other movie
Yeah, I like I said, I
for
haven't seen the
editing,
father. Uh, my number one
but
choice would be Minari for editing, because Minari has some
I
of
haven't
the
seen it.
most precise and just really meaningful cuts I've like ever seen. But it didn't get nominated for editing. So
Sad.
that's fucked up. But
It's fine.
anyway,
At least they get
I'm gonna
nominated
move
for
on
foreign
from
film.
this. Obviously, check out Nomadland. It's on Hulu, so you don't gotta go to the theater and see it. Check it out, form your own opinion. Obviously, a lot of people do love this movie, and you might as well. My parents do, so shout out. So, check it out, see what you think. But anyway, after that, what do I want to talk about? I got so many movies on here, and I didn't narrow it down to five. I'm gonna blow past a few of them. Some rewatches. I rewatched Harry Potter, Order of the Phoenix, Sherlock Holmes, the one with Robert Downey Jr., and Civil War, Captain America: Civil War. Just fun ass movies. I rewatched all those with my friends while we were hanging out a few of the nights. All of them are just really fun movies. Civil War was way better than I remembered. Sherlock Holmes I was expecting it to be worse, and Order of the Phoenix is also better than I remembered, and has one of the coolest climaxes of any Harry Potter movie, honestly. Um,
Um, I actually watched Civil War recently too in the last few months.
okay.
Um,
Do you think it was better or worse than like you remembered?
I still like it. I just don't care for the stakes. There's like no stakes in the movie. It
It
especially
happened too
since like
early for sure.
I don't know.
They did
It
Civil War
did.
too
It
early.
did
It's just
happen
a
very too
fact.
early.
But
It's
I
weird though,
still
because at the time I was like, this is the biggest like Marvel movie of all time, and
yeah.
then like fucking 4 years later.
Whoa.
So
That watching that airport fight scene, that was kind of funny. But it's a
yeah,
great scene. But
it was
thinking that
very
that was
cool.
like the biggest thing at the time, which is just funny.
Spider Man, we got to see Spider Man
Yeah.
with the
That
Avengers.
yeah, Spider-Man shit in that movie is great. I wish there was more.
That was a
But
wild thing to see
yeah.
on there. We all knew it was coming because it was in the trailer,
When
but
Queens
it
pops
was
up on
just
the screen,
yeah.
it's just great. It's so much fun. Just really great movie. Speaking of a great movie though, I really want to talk about Blow Up. This is a 1996 movie by Michelangelo Antonioni. He's a famous Italian director. There's a remake of this movie that's really popular that came out in the 90s with John Travolta called Blow Out, which is a really similar premise but with a sound technician instead of a photographer. But oh my god, this movie blew me away. Blow Up. I got this from my friend Rex, who is back on the Sorry to Bother You podcast. I got this for him, the Blu-ray Criterion for Christmas, and so we finally watched it together a while back. And this movie blew me fucking away. It's a really great feeling when a movie really has you on edge thinking about, I have no idea really what this is trying to go for. Like, there's a lot of things that I think this movie's trying to go for in story and themes, but I'm not sure. And then when a third act or just like the final like 15 minutes or 20 minutes of a movie can perfectly wrap it up and encapsulate everything and just make everything make complete sense without being overbearing, that feeling is really unlike anything ever. And this movie does that absolutely perfectly. The ending of this movie is absolutely surreal and beautiful in every single way, and made this really kind of twisted movie at times have one of just like the happiest and most feel good endings I've felt, honestly.
Spoiler.
It's just a really surreal movie in general, honestly. It's just so creative, and it really puts you in the mindset of this photographer, and so many of the shots it feels like you're looking through his eyes and how he's literally viewing the world, and like photography wise, it's so just beautiful to look at. It's just a really inventive movie, cinematography and color palette wise. um, it's crazy. It's so crazy. I really recommend checking out Blow Up. I don't know if it's available on any streaming services, but this is one I'm gonna be thinking about for a long time, and it's gonna be a favorite for a long time for me because I know there's just so much I missed because it's just a really fucking cool movie. But after that, another one of the only movies I got to see in theaters. I've been to the theaters twice since they opened up in our area. Promising Young Woman, obviously, and the first one I saw was The Little Things. This came on HBO Max, and I was not gonna watch this movie at all because I didn't want to. I thought it looked really boring, but um, it was the first day I noticed that the theaters were open, and this is the only showtime me and my roommates could make it to, and so we decided to just go, and it was so fucking boring and just such a bad movie, so unengaging. It really felt like somebody, because it's a well-known fact that this script of this movie was written in the 90s and it's just been bubbling around for a while, and it literally just feels like someone watched Seven and was like, I need to recreate that, and then tried to recreate it, and it's just fucking bland and boring. But it was one of the most fun times I've had at the theaters, just fucking around with my friends in an empty theater watching this really shit movie. And I'm glad I had that experience again. It's been way too long. I got really emotional sitting there watching it. Even though the movie was horrible, it just felt great watching it. I had a big popcorn and soda and candy with me. I'm a
You
sucker for
even cry at the
consumerism.
shitty movies. Oh my god.
I didn't cry
You
at the
motherfucker.
movie. I cried at being at the movie theater, and it was great, and I felt amazing. But yeah, check out Little Things on HBO Max if you want to be fucking bored. I don't know. If you want to make fun of Jared Leto,
No, thank you.
it's always a good time making fun of Jared Leto. So there's some really cringy ass Jared Leto
Wait, you
moments
don't
in
like
there.
Jared Leto?
Oh no, I love Jared Leto. He's the best
Oh,
Joker
yeah, me too.
iteration. I mean, honestly.
Come take me down, bury me, bury me. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Jared
Yeah,
Leto.
yeah. Shout out music Jared Leto.
Yeah, shout out 30 Seconds to Mars, Jared Leto's band.
Oh God.
Um,
Oh
yeah.
God, I had so many. What else do I want to talk about? Right, I'm gonna talk about a few more. I want to shout out Gregory's Girl. I was on a kick for a few days of watching, um, like really weird, kind of quirky family movies, you know? And so I decided to check out Gregory's Girl. This is by Bill Forsyth. It's the second movie I've seen by him. The other one is Local Hero. I talked about this a few months ago on the podcast, and that movie blew me away. All-time favorite, Local Hero. And so Gregory's Girl had a lot of living up to do, and it didn't live up to the expectations of Local Hero. That movie is just amazing, but it is still really, really good. The titular Gregory is such an awkward, uncomfortable character, and he does so much dumb shit that feels like it's literally just taken from my middle and high school experience of really cringy dumb shit that I did, and it's so hard to watch at times. but it's so fucking funny, but it's also so endearing. Oh my god, there are some really, really cute scenes in this movie, and it's really just comes down to the actor who played Gregory and then Bill Forsyth's pen, who wrote and directed this movie alongside local hero. He is becoming one of the most interesting writers I've seen. His work really reminds me of other writers that are some of my favorites, like Wes Anderson, Jim Jarmusch. Um, he definitely is in that vein of um, kind of quirkiness that they have, and I love it. And I'm excited to check out more of his movies because Gregory's Girl, just a good fucking time, just a really good time, absolutely. And then I think the last thing I'll talk about, because I've talked about a lot of movies, I'm going to talk about Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. So this is a Park Chan Wook movie. This is the second movie I've seen by him. The first one being Old Boy, and they're all a part of a Vengeance trilogy that he did that are not connected at all, just in the idea that they're all movies about revenge. He made them in the order of Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Old Boy, and then Lady Vengeance. I liked Old Boy a little bit more than Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, but I still loved this movie. It's really strange. It actually felt like a Jim Jarmusch movie at times, with the way certain characters were written and the way certain edits and certain fades would happen in certain scenes. It felt very strange at times. He was very clearly influenced by a lot of Jarmusch's early work, I think, and that made this movie just really fun for me
This
to
was like
watch. 2002.
2001, you would say?
2002.
2002.
Yeah. And it's a brutal ass movie. If you've seen Old Boy, yes, it's very reminiscent of that. It is fucking brutal. There are some really hard to watch scenes, but they're executed so perfectly, and it's all held together by the titular Mr. Vengeance. He really uh it's impossible to not have so much sympathy for this guy, as is in the title. Like, it's he is such a great character, and the journey that you see him go on, and like the reasonings you get for certain things that he does, are so fucking just, you just gotta watch it. Like Old Boy, it's a very twisty turny movie, but this movie honestly tugged at my heartstrings a lot more than Old Boy. um I'd say the only reason I liked it a little bit less is because there were some definite pacing or some little bit of strange writing moments throughout the movie that just kind of held it from being like that masterpiece type level movie that I think Old Boy is. But I still really loved and enjoyed it. I watched it on Criterion Channel, and that's where I'm gonna watch Lady Vengeance as well. I'm gonna be watching that probably next week because I need to finish this trilogy, and I love them so much. But that's Sympathy for Mr.
Nice.
Vengeance. Um, fuck. Do I want to shout out any of these other movies? I got so much more.
You just mentioned them. Say them really quick.
Yeah, I'll just blow by them. I rewatched Rushmore. Rushmore, great time. I really like Wes Anderson. Wasn't as good as I remembered, but really good time. I rewatched Captain Fantastic and Little Miss Sunshine, part of that binge of watching weird, quirky family dramas. Love both of those movies. They were
Great
even
movies.
better than I remembered. I watched Moxie, this new Netflix movie directed by Amy Poehler, which is actually pretty well written and acted, and just a really fun movie that, of course, made me cry. Being a dumb teen coming of age story, of course, I had to cry.
Jesus Christ.
I watched Scanners with Nick. That was a good time. It
was fun.
It has some real sleeper moments, but there's some really great scenes.
Yeah,
really
you were like falling asleep through that for some reason.
I literally fell asleep for like five or 10 minutes. It was kind of crazy.
Jeez, bro.
But there's some real great Cronenberg moments, which is all you can ask for in a Cronenberg movie. So shout out him.
That movie's like honestly a little bit ahead of its time.
It is. It's a cool fucking movie. I can see why
for what they had.
So
I feel like if Cronenberg was still making movies today,
the movie popular, are effective, and I can see why they're popular, because those scenes are fucking awesome and are 100% a reason to watch this movie. Like, the big scenes, like the hedge scenes.
I don't know. There's a couple scenes I thought were pretty big. I don't know.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Uh,
All of those scenes were great, and I'm saying those
oh,
were
okay.
like those alone are a perfect are good enough reason to watch this movie.
Are they like famous or something?
Oh yeah,
Are they?
yeah, yeah.
I've
That
never
like
seen this movie
this is
before.
this movie like really put Cronenberg on the map just because of,
Mm,
oh, that's the head exploding guy, you know.
gotcha.
That was
Cool.
the whole thing. But Scanners was cool. And then I watched Four
Scanners
Christmases.
is cool.
It's
What? Why are you watching Christmas
my
movies?
friend put this on. It was on right when I got home from work, so I just sat down and watched it. And it's this rom com that came out in 2008 with Vince Vaughn and fucking Reese Witherspoon, and
Oh shit!
like
I've
John
seen
Favreau's in
this.
it, and like it's fucking
I've
hilarious
seen
and
this.
like really endearing and like
The movie's
actually
sneakily
good.
kind of funny.
Dude, it's an absolute banger.
There's a
It's such a
scene
banger. It's
I haven't
I
seen this in
really like it.
forever.
Dude, it was
But if
so
there was,
fun.
if I remember correctly, there's a scene where they're trying to put, I want to say like a TV satellite up,
Yep, yep.
and then there's like this whole chain of events that ends up like fucking up the whole house, and I just remember dying at that scene.
Dude,
Um,
John Favreau in that movie, he's like a
oh,
semi-professional
he's like his
WWE
brother.
wrestler. Yeah, and he fucking like chokes him out all
Yeah.
the time, and he's like eating chicken wings all the time. Like John
Ew.
Favreau in this movie is so fucking funny. He's definitely the
I
highlight of
thought it
it.
was
But like,
always fucking
dude,
funny,
Vince
bro.
Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon's like connection there in this movie was great. They
Yeah,
had
they're
some
fucking
great
cute,
chemistry
aren't they?
together. They work so well, and I want to see more of them in fucking co-leads because they had some
They had a
great
really like
chemistry.
kink, kinky ass like role play in the very
Yeah,
beginning of the
it was
movie.
funny. It's
Yeah,
it's great. I am really
that's a
surprised at how much I
sleeper.
enjoyed that movie.
That's an underrated
I don't
like
know
movie right
why
there.
my roommate put that on, but that was great. And then I saw
Interesting.
Jennifer's Body for the first time. Have you seen that?
Oh yep. Speaking of like promising young woman,
Yeah, Jennifer's Body
fucking
was
what's his face?
awesome.
Adam Brody is a fucking sleazeball in both of those
Yep.
movies.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Um,
super weird to see him in both of those
that's so
singles
funny.
recently. But yeah, first time watching Jennifer's Body.
I
Super
fucking love
fun. I
Jennifer's
loved
Body.
it. It's so fucking
Yeah,
fun. Way better than I
I'm
thought
glad
it
you
was gonna
watched this.
be.
This is a good movie.
And like Amanda Seyfried is sleeper. She's great. She's
Oh,
amazing.
I would love to see her get the Oscar for best
Yeah,
supporting.
the supporting actor Oscar this year is so up in
It's
the
pretty
air.
stacked.
It's so
Pretty
up in the
stacked.
air. No one knows who's gonna win, but I would love Seyfried to win. But as is with all my other picks, my pick is obviously Yuya Jun for Minari. So, that's just how it is. But I don't think she's gonna win, sadly.
Just watch Minari sweep the Oscars.
Dude, if Minari swept, I can't tell you how happy I would be.
I don't think I would be surprised if they did, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
I was really hoping for a while, and I had some steam, and I thought it was going to, but with the way Nomadland has been playing, like, man, it's such a
If
loss
you
right now.
if you think about it, Jacob, Minari culturally right now has all the chances of winning,
Minari,
like
okay, Minari
everything.
is definitely like second or third favorite to win. It's in the
I think
race. It's
it's
just
either
the
second,
it just sucks
if
because
not first.
Nomadland is such a strong front runner right now. That's just why it's hard to pick anything else for
But
so many.
No Man Land has definitely gotten major criticism, like as in like criticism that's reached like mainstream media. But Minari's like has no like
See,
beef
that's the
with
thing is
anything.
I thought that criticism would catch up to it, but it hasn't at all.
Yeah, it has
It
not,
hasn't at
and
all.
I haven't seen it, so I can't critique it, but I've seen all love from
Yeah,
Minari all the
exactly.
time.
That's why I definitely
No
had
Man
hope
Land,
out for
I've seen
Minari for a
like
long
people
time,
either
but
love it or like kind of like it, or people
yeah,
like you that are just like not about it. Um,
it's weird.
so
I don't know.
it's all totally up in the air.
I'd really like to see
And
Minari
Oscar
win a
should
few
be
things,
super
but
fun. Yeah,
I hope it does for sure. But anyway, that's all the movies I want to talk about for this
I need to
week.
watch it.
That's gonna be our notable watcher section. Check out all these movies, form your own opinions as always. Hey guys, weird spot for an intermission this time, but coming back after so long, weird episode. weird episode that we're doing with the double feature. This is the way kind of how it turned out and how the conversation ended up flowing. We just decided to take the intermission in this spot right here. So for the rest of it, we will be talking about what points we're talking about, spoilers and non-spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movies or not, don't worry, we'll let you know before we actually start getting into the spoilers. If you still want to tune in and just listen to what we have to say about these movies and why we picked them for the double feature. But I just really want to say thank you guys so much. If you're listening to this episode, it's been so long, it's kind of weird. I'm sure some people probably thought this podcast was kind of just done, but we're back, and I'm excited to really get back into the swing of things. You'll see me on TikTok a lot more too. I'm about to record that right after this. It can kind of explain what's been going on a little bit on there. But yeah, obviously, as always, stay until the end of the episode if you want to hear what we're talking about in 2 weeks. So you can DM us in the closet WJ and your response to the topic and review for the next episode if you want to participate in that one. So as always, thanks so much for listening, and catch you guys later. All right, let's get into the topic finally.
Location change, baby. What's up?
Holy shit, location change, edit cut. What the fuck?
You might notice the Atomic Blonde poster.
Yeah, you shut it off before. You shut it off before. It's good. It's all right. It's pretty sick.
It's okay. Right next to the post.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful post.
It's an okay poster.
I really like the post, and I really like that movie. I really like the poster. I mean, I really like the poster, and I like the movie a lot.
I like the poster to the post more than I like the movie.
I agree, but I also really like the movie though.
Yeah, as far as like Spielberg, as far as like Spielberg goes, like later Spielberg, The Post is one of his better movies. Up with like Lincoln, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, let's talk about this shit. Our topic of the week, obviously, double feature, Her and Lost in Translation. I've been wanting to do this for a long time because I've been big fans of these movies for a really long time. They both had a really big impact on me the first time I watched them, and the relationship that these movies have, I think is really interesting, and I just kind of want to talk about that a little bit. We'll try and keep this as spoiler-free as we can, just talking about the way that these movies are connected and why we picked them as this double feature before we go into spoilers and before we go deeper into the review later. But let's get right into it. These movies are obviously directed by Spike Jonze and Sofia Coppola, respectively, for Her and Lost in Translation. And the thing that
Spike Jonze did Lost in Translation,
obviously.
Right?
No.
Oh.
Fuck off.
Sorry. That was a stupid
God damn,
joke.
he ruined my flow. That's okay.
Can you hear the fan, by the way?
A little bit, but I think it's okay.
Okay.
I don't think you gotta fuck with it.
Let me know if it's bad.
Yep, I think you're okay. But anyway, these two directors and writers of their movies used to be married previously, and then they divorced. And these were the two movies that they each made kind of after that divorce. And I think that's just kind of interesting. You get to see these two people's kind of perspective on love, and kind of in a way their perspective on their relationship and the impact it had on them and kind of how they felt during it. And obviously that's not like an explicit thing. It's not I don't think they've ever like explicitly said that that's what it's about, but I think the subtext is there and it's undeniable in a way that at least makes it interesting to talk about.
I want to mention this. This is more of like, I would say, your kind of theory, because as much as like I agree with it, these movies are so vastly different from each other.
Yeah.
That I don't know. Like I get what you're trying to say, but like I like kind of disagree with like they are related. I don't know.
That's fair. It's just I just like to think about it in that way just because I think it's interesting, but it's obviously not necessarily true. But there are just fun other things that also tie them in an interesting way. Namely, their production designer is the same person in both of them. KK
I
Barrett
have
is
no
his
idea.
name. He did the production design for both movies, and
Interesting.
it honestly kind of shows in a way, at least in the sense of both movies are set in Tokyo. One is like a Neo Tokyo. It's a real mix of like Tokyo and LA, kind of really futuristic in her. And then obviously Lost in Translation is a lot more grounded in our present reality in modern day Tokyo. But that kind of correlation that they have being set in Tokyo, I think, is interesting. And not really sure what that means. I'm not sure why they're both set in Tokyo. I know why Lost in
That'd be a
Translation,
coincidence.
wants to be, but um, it's kind of strange. But the fact that they had the same production designer, I think, just is fun. And even though they're vastly different movies and how they're shot, like cinematography wise and also production wise, um, I think there are just some certain similarities that you can see in KK Barrett's style that are highlighted in both movies. Um, and that's just something that I think is just it's kind of just more of a tidbit that I think is interesting.
Sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's basically the reason we chose this for the double feature. Is the way that the directors are linked, the way that the production designer is linked, and then kind of the way that these are both love stories, and they're kind of both strange love stories. And how their stories themes on love, I think they both touch on the ideas of the evolution of love, and how that evolution like impacts a relationship, you know, and also the idea of a limited time together. I think is a really big aspect in both movies about loving and appreciating a limited time that you have together, um, even though it may be tragic that it's limited. Just living in the moment and trying to appreciate the time that you do have, and still looking on good moments fondly no matter
When
what
did
does happen in the end.
so ScarJo knew that her time was limited. When did with Bill Murray, but when did I kind of forgot when did Joaquin Phoenix find out his time was limited with ScarJo?
I think he. I mean, I'd assume he probably started to think about it once they started to argue, because they had some arguments throughout like the middle of the movie. And I think that's probably when he started to think about it.
Hmm.
But I really don't think he ever thought that um what would
That's a,
happen did happen.
I think
You know.
low-key think he thought he was going to live with her,
Yeah,
live with
exactly.
her
I
for the rest
I
of his
I, I
life.
agree. I think I more so think he just like entertained the idea, but I do think he thought that he was going to spend the rest of his life with her. Yeah, for
Now,
sure.
if you wanted to bring these two movies together and compare them, you could say maybe this is the way Spike Jones saw things. He like maybe Coppola saw a time limit. Maybe Spike Jones was like, I
He
thought
got
this was going to
sidelined.
be
Yeah.
forever lasting,
Mhm.
and I was a little bit stunted
Mhm.
when I found out there was a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or maybe a Coppola, which is she's definitely implying, is maybe he was just fucking blind and didn't know, couldn't tell, and maybe that's why he didn't know.
Yeah, like you see the aspects of Bill Murray's character in Lost in Translation, representing Spike Jonze in a way of this older man in movies who has made a lot of success, and he's kind of starting to get lost in his work, and it's really detaching
I'm
him from
kind
his
of
family.
I'm kind of
And you can
confused.
say that.
Wait, are we saying that Bill Murray is Spike Jones?
No, I'm saying you can see similarities. You could draw similarities in it, because, like I said, is an older man in the film industry who's made a lot of movies, and he's starting to become really detached from his family. And you could
Interesting.
say that maybe that also was happening with Spike Jonze, because before that movie had came out, he had really massive success with being John
Being John.
Malkovich, and Adaptation, some really
Yeah.
big movies that really blew him on the map, and obviously some of his other stuff that he did with like the Beastie Boys
Adaptation
beforehand
was
with
his
it.
last movie
But
before her, correct?
Adaptation was his last movie before her, yeah, and it was also his
Yeah.
last movie. Actually, I can't remember if Adaptation came out before or after Lost in Translation. When
I
did Lost
want
in
to say it
Translation
came
come
out
out?
before.
Yeah,
Well,
Adaptation's
2004,
like
right?
2002 or something like that. Well,
Okay,
Lost in
then maybe it
Translation
came
is
out
2003.
afterwards.
Adaptation is 2002. I
Oh.
guess I don't know when they got divorced though. I have no idea because also Her wasn't made until 2014. So I don't know. That's why it's just like a
Yeah, that's another thing where I'm like,
that's
that
why
theory's really
that's
fun,
why
but it's
I
kind
more
of
so mean
yeah.
I think there's just little nuggets in both of the movies that you can start to say like, oh, this kind of seems like applicable to their relationship,
Can
you
we
know?
talk about these
Like,
movies, man? I feel like I just want to talk about them.
yeah.
Like
What
we keep talking about like themes and stuff. I feel like we have to get in the nitty gritty with this
Okay,
stuff
okay. Hold on.
because
One more thing I want to say, which is obviously a
yeah,
given, that I didn't mention, which is a big reason. It's also a really funny double pairing of feature is Scarlett Johansson's in both movies.
yep,
I can't believe I
and she's fucking
missed
hot
that
in
earlier.
both of them,
That's a fact.
even
That's
as
an
a
absolute
voice,
fact.
even as a Siri.
Um, yeah, absolutely. Scarlett Johansson is
I get it.
I love
I
her.
would fuck my phone too.
I get it. We remember the clip from a few episodes ago. Nick would fuck his phone. We know it.
Did I see that? I'm
Yeah.
not surprised.
It happens.
Jeez.
But
Yeah, it does. It happens. You
yeah,
know, these
they're
things.
they're
These things
they're
are
really
cool.
fun. Those are just some of those things, but I can't hold it any longer either. Let's get into spoilers,
We
man.
need to
Let's
talk
go.
about them. To like,
We're going full
I want to
spoilers if you
fully
haven't seen those
explore
movies.
these similarities. So
Absolutely. So full spoilers for here on out, obviously, because we're just gonna be jumping around more.
yeah.
Um, and I have a lot of choice things, honestly, to say review wise towards Lost in Translation on this rewatch,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I don't think I'm done with that yet.
I'll go ahead and say actually right now, I love both of these movies. I probably like her a little bit more because I'm a misogynist and I'm not really a big fan
Yes,
of Sofia
of
Coppola.
course, of course.
But no, I'm kidding. Please do not believe me.
Clip it, clip it,
But
clip it, clip it.
but I realistically I do like her more because I found her to be just so emotionally engaging. And I actually watched it first like years ago,
Hmm.
and I loved it then.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
but I do love Lost in Translation for like whole other reasons. I love her because of the relationship and everything surrounding these characters. I love Lost in Translation because of the visuals,
yeah.
and
That's
the
kind of
way the
interesting
camera
because I
moves.
mean, I also my favorite thing of Lost in Translation is actually the soundtrack and score, but
Yeah,
right after that is the
killer.
visuals. Even though
Oh
I do
yeah,
think the visuals are better in Her, I like Her's visual aesthetic a lot more. But Lost in Translation has a really fucking cool aesthetic as well,
yeah.
honestly, and it definitely has
You
a better
think you would
score and
get
soundtrack in my
tired?
mind,
You think
which
you
is
would
kind of
get tired
crazy.
of looking at neon lights in Tokyo,
Yeah,
but you really don't. You really
absolutely.
don't. And
You really don't.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I gotta say, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I do think that the score and soundtrack are better in Lost in Translation than Her. Uh,
Actually, yeah, I gotta agree.
which is
It's
weird because I think Her is a
kick-ass story.
perfect movie. I love Her.
Whoa.
Her is the one that I saw first, and I do think it's a perfect movie. I thought it was the first time I watched it, and I definitely thought it was on this rewatch a few days ago.
Mm.
I'm obsessed with this movie. It's so fucking good. I love it way more than Lost in Translation. Um, but I do think there's something really special about the score and soundtrack of Lost in Translation that I can't help but just be really obsessed with. Like, not only is the score just so fitting and so unique, but it's also just like filled with banger after banger on the soundtrack. So, in that karaoke scene, like, come on, come on, dude, that
That's
karaoke scene is
adorable.
so good. But yeah, I gotta say, on this rewatch of Lost in Translation, I liked it a lot less. I loved this
Interesting.
movie, borderline masterpiece when I first saw this, but and this is gonna be a little bit
But
harsh.
now
It's gonna be a little
I
bit
have
harsh.
reached the
I'm
level of
sorry,
Kino where
but dude, there's some really weirdly racially charged jokes in this movie.
oh my
Like
god, this
a,
movie's racist as
a
fuck.
lot. Lost in Translation is so racist. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's really bad.
what?
It's like
Whoa!
actually Lost in
How did
Translation.
I not
It's
remember
like
this?
actual Lost in Translation moments in the movie, but they're like the cringiest moments
Dude,
of the movie.
I'm serious.
It's
I
not
cannot.
good.
This is a horrible joke. I cannot believe Sofia Coppola did not name the movie Lost in Translation.
Oh god.
Because that is. I'm serious. I'm serious. That is what this movie does. Like the entire first act of this movie, and then like probably every other scene after that
You're getting canceled for that, by the
is.
way.
No, because that's that. I'm explaining. Let me explain.
I know.
Because uh, literally the entire movie is just making fun of Japanese people, their culture, and how they pronounce English
It's
words.
belittling them. It's
It's
fucking weird.
so disgusting. It would like that's why
It's so uncomfortable.
I can't love this movie, because like those scenes that I
That's
love and
fair.
really remembered from this movie, I still do love, and those scenes hit. But I I couldn't ignore those things this time. I don't know how I did previously. I seriously don't even remember it. But it even gets to the point where why I made the joke of Ross in translation is because in the movie
You said it
the
again?
main joke that they make about making fun of the Japanese people's English is them mixing up R's and L's. Um, and
Yeah.
it gets to a point where ScarJo and Bill Murray actually have a conversation about it, and they're like making fun of it more. And
It's
I
very weird.
I could not believe that they kept doing that same joke over and over again. But when they talked about it in that
It
conversation,
was
I was like,
ongoing.
this is like next level. This is like so racially charged. Like
Like, yeah,
this
like an
is fucked
actual
up.
vendetta. It's
It's
very
it's
strange.
it's actually impossible to ignore, which is just baffles me even more how I don't remember it. It sounds like I'm saying that to save my skin, which I don't know. Sorry if it sounds like that, but it's like
Just say Ross and
I don't
Restoration
I
again,
don't
and
know
we'll
how
be
I
okay.
don't know how more people don't talk about this when talking about this movie, because everyone I know that has seen this movie loves this
Yeah,
movie.
you're not fucking kidding, bro. It's like
I know I'm not the first person to bring this up. Obviously, I have seen discussion about it, but only when I searched that
yeah,
out. Every single person I
yeah. I have to
know who
look
has seen this
for it.
movie loves this movie, and like
Yes, it's very weird.
it's kind of fucked up, dude. It's really racist, and like they even do like multiple jokes about like him being so tall and all Asians being so short, you know?
Oh
Like
yeah, that was
they did
another
that
one.
joke a few
That
times.
that that
One with
that
the
they actually
shower.
went back to that joke
They did one at the
a couple
beginning
times.
with the fucking
Yep.
shower, even though there was more room to move the shower head up. He just didn't because they wanted to make the racist joke. Literally for
Yeah.
no reason. And then they bring it up again where ScarJo mentions it later. I'm like, what? And there's obviously that like famous shot of him in the elevator towering over all of them. It's like, why? What the fuck is this? This movie is just making fun of Japanese culture. And like, I've seen discussions of this movie saying how this is Sofia Coppola's love letter to Tokyo, and that her just talking about how much she loves Japan and Tokyo specifically and her experiences there. And it's like, you do not portray it that way at all. You portray it in such a disgusting, dishonest, and just downright hateful at times way, and
It's
it made it
it,
really uncomfortable. It fucking sucked, and it made me just so sad because like I loved this movie, and there's things
yeah.
that I love about this movie that I still do love about it, like some undeniably really great things that we mentioned previously with the visuals, with the score, with the acting. With ScarJo and Bill is great through most of it. there are
Yeah, they're fine. I honestly think they're just fine.
They were a lot
Um,
less good than I remembered, as is with every other aspect of
yeah,
this movie. But
I don't know.
I thought
And
Bill Murray
ScarJo's
was good
very like,
in like his emotional scenes. He's a really good
hmm
actor. Like my Bill Murray's obviously incredibly famous and incredibly highly regarded. Um,
what?
and my favorite thing about him and his acting, out of like all the weird shit he does, is like his eyes, especially like old Bill Murray. His eyes are so like
hmm
so good. Check out Broken
In
Flowers by
Garfield,
Jim
when he
Jarmusch.
played that cat,
Uh,
I was like,
shut
oh
the
my
fuck
god,
up. Shut the fuck
what
up.
a what a masterclass at his fucking work.
A
I'm just
genius of
kidding.
his
I'm sorry.
craft. That's okay.
Let's move on. Let's move
But
on.
yeah, it sucks, man. It's like I really wanted to talk about Lost in Translation more, and I was really excited to talk about this movie. But then on this rewatch, like all the racial shit, like completely clouded the movie and made it pretty unwatchable for me at times. Honestly.
Yeah, you get excuse me, you get to the point where you're just like shocked that they would even keep going with like some of the ongoing
Yeah.
jokes, and you're like, this is not funny. This
Mhm.
is very awkward. Oh my god, this scene is very well lit.
Mhm.
Um, like yeah, these are like all the emotions going through my head, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Like, I'm digging most of this, but yeah, it's really those racial components to the movie that are very strange and
Mhm.
racist.
Yeah.
It
It
sucks.
it sucks. Um, and
What the fuck, Sophia?
damn it, dude. I wanted to like this movie in this rewatch. I hate when I rewatch a
It's
movie.
okay. She's
I hate when
garbage in Godfather 3,
I
so
hate when I rewatch a
yeah.
movie that I loved and realize that it's not that good. That's like the worst feeling.
Can we maybe go back and say Sophia Coppola is like just okay director
I
and
think we can
not
definitely say that, and we can definitely also say she's kind of a problematic figure in Hollywood.
and not a
Um,
very good actor,
the
very
way that
bad actor.
she, I know she gets a lot of flack for this online, completely deservedly.
What?
The ways that she, as most people do, preaches for inclusivity in movies and more women in filmmaking. And then the way that there's not a single person of color in any of her movies besides when they're like mocking them. It's like,
You
fuck you, Sofia Coppola. What the fuck? And
weirdo. She's
I'm pretty
also
sure even in the
like,
Beguiled, there was because it's based
oh
off like true
yeah.
events. She like changed a person of color character to be played by a white person. It was like, what? Why? Why are you doing
What?
this?
You saw that recent Beguiled movie?
I haven't
It's
seen
not
it. I
very
just
good,
heard
is
about
it?
that.
Oh,
I do
really?
not want to watch
It's
it.
not
I
very
do not want
good.
to watch it.
If you
And
want to
now
see
that
a
I heard
good
that,
Beguiled movie, just watch the original. It's actually good, or read the book. Um,
yeah,
Also, Sophia Coppola is like I mentioned it already, but in Godfather 3, she's
I
fucking
haven't seen Godfather 3,
terrible.
but
Oh well,
yeah,
yeah, she's not good.
maybe. And I heard On the Rocks, her movie that came out last year, wasn't that good either. So maybe she just needs
Was
to stop
that
making movies.
was that Bill Murray again?
Bill Murray, Rashida Jones. Yeah, I actually thought it looked pretty good, especially because at that
Rashida
time I loved Lost in Translation,
Jones.
but I definitely don't
Interesting.
now.
That was an Apple movie, wasn't it?
It was an Apple movie.
An Apple Plus movie. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm amazed. May or may not. I'm definitely gonna get Apple Plus. Something's coming up on there that I really wanted to see.
There's been a lot of things on there that I've really wanted to see, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to say about Lost in Translation? I guess review wise, we can talk about obviously some more like similarity and ties that we're kind of doing, like
I feel like that's
maybe
more
stuff
your
like that.
thing. I definitely mentioned what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
in both movies, so I'm interested to hear if you have any more.
Mhm.
But for Lost in Translation review wise, let's see.
Do you want to slap? Do you want to slap a score on this baby right here?
We could do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Honest to God, what would you rate this movie? I don't know.
When I first saw it, I would give it like an A, and I would still give it an A. But I definitely have issues with it.
Yeah. So you're like that guy who gives Birth of a Nation an A because how it innovated editing.
It depends which birth of a nation. You fucking asshole.
You know which one I'm talking about, you fucking idiot. You know I'm talking about the D.W.
There's
Griffith.
one that's like propaganda from
That's what
KKK
I'm talking
people.
about.
Oh yeah, fuck you,
You
you
know I'm talking
asshole.
about that one, and you're that person who defends that movie.
Yeah, okay, cut this out. Okay, that's the worst joke you made on this
Oh my
podcast, hands
god.
down.
For real though, that man, this movie's like a 1 star for me, straight up.
Wow,
I
you used to
that
love
that
it too.
I would have given this movie like a 4.5 originally, but
Hmm.
this is actually like a 1 star movie to me now. Uh,
Is
because
that 1 star for you? Is just like no good, like
yeah,
no.
yeah, it does mean
Wow.
like I don't put it at a 0 or at half a star. So I mean there are like some redeeming things. Like I said, I am obsessed with the soundtrack, score, and visuals
Mhm.
of this movie, but yeah, it's so disgustingly racist.
It also
It's
feels so
it's crazy.
like it feels preppy, and like it feels like Bill Murray's like better than everybody. I'm like,
Yeah.
ugh,
He's not fun to
motherfucker,
watch.
dude.
It's like
Like,
I don't want to root for this guy at all in any way. I
yeah,
do not like watching him in any way.
yeah, I agree.
So what? Okay, you agree with all. Why do you give it such a high rating? It's such a problematic and quite
Uh,
frankly a disgusting movie at times. Throughout a lot of
because
it.
I don't let Jacob Nestor determine how I'm going to score a movie, even if I have.
I'm not saying you need to
I
follow
like
my
I like
rating.
almost everything about this movie except for all the racialized components.
Except for all the
But
racist
that
shit
shit
that happens in
doesn't
every
really.
single scene.
It doesn't ruin the whole movie for me, but it just makes me uncomfortable. Um, movie has a lot of great elements.
That's fair. That's
What
fair.
you're like? Do you want me to say this movie's a 1 star? Like, I don't
Yes.
understand. Okay, well, I'm not
I
gonna
don't
say
care. I
that.
don't care.
I'm not gonna
I
let you fucking
don't
do that to me, motherfucker. What the fuck?
care. I don't care. I'm kidding. I'm
You little
kidding.
bit. Last week
Oh
or
god.
last podcast, you were complaining that my David Finchers were like too low or some shit, and then I had to explain like this is how I rate shit. Like a 3 stars is a really good rating for me. Like it means I usually
Same for
like the
me.
movie.
3 stars is also
Okay.
a really good rating for me. You know
But
that.
you were like, oh, the game's 3 stars and it's your number 5. Curious. Like motherfucker,
Okay, you're just fucking sus all the time, but whatever.
suck my dick. You want to talk sus? Come right over. We'll sell this right now,
Oh my god.
motherfucker.
Fucking, can we talk about a good movie, please? Can we talk about Her?
Let's talk about fucking Her.
Okay, dude,
Yeah.
Her. This is a masterpiece, dude.
That's
Her is a
good.
goddamn masterpiece of a movie.
Her is Spike Lee's. I'm just
Her
kidding. Spike
would
Jones is probably his best movie,
Her,
100%.
if you put Her in Spike Lee's filmography, it would be his best movie.
Whoa, racist.
Whoa, whoa! I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Do the right thing is my favorite. I'm sorry. Do the right thing, right? I gotta say that. No,
I
that is my
legitimately
favorite
think
Spike.
Black Klansman is his best movie, but yeah.
No. Do the right thing is definitely
Um,
my favorite Spike Lee movie, but I also do like Her more. Sorry, Her's just I love this movie. It's amazing.
I
It's
like Her more than
perfect.
Do the
What
Right
do I
Thing.
gotta say about it? Um,
I don't know.
dude, Joaquin
Can we
Phoenix, his
Walking?
character in this movie, he's so good. He's so
Enough about
good.
Joaquin Phoenix. Can we talk about how great the fucking side characters in this movie are?
Oh my
We got motherfucking
god, dude.
Amy goddamn Adams.
Amy
We
goddamn
got fucking what's her face from Nightmare on Elm Street reboot.
I don't
Uh 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 the white chick.
You got motherfucking Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
No. Hold on, I think I actually know who you're talking about. Are you talking about this sex surrogate girl?
No, I'm talking about what's her face? Why am I forgetting her name? She's in Social Network.
Rooney Mara. Rooney Mara.
Rooney Mara,
Yeah,
thank you.
she plays his ex-wife.
Yep.
Rooney Mara.
His ex-wife, who he's like unable to file the divorce papers for whatever reason, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, Who else is in this? That's about it, I guess.
I mean, fucking Matt Lesher, who plays Charles. He's
mhm.
in like I actually don't know what he's. Oh, I recognize him from The Flash. That's what I recognize him from. I'm like, I know I recognize
Oh
this guy.
Jesus! What the
Fuck
fuck?
off. That's a good show. Or it was a good
Okay.
show.
Yeah, let's move on.
But
Yeah, no,
oh
I
god.
fucking love the supporting cast in this so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Regardless of Joaquin's and Scargo's amazing performances, we could talk about more of Scargo again. I like her a
ScarJo
lot in
is
Lost in
she's
Translation, but
she's
she's
pretty
fucking
good in Lost in
amazing.
Translation. Yeah, she's pretty good in Lost in Translation. There, but in this movie, especially what she can convey just with her voice, is
Yeah.
unfucking real,
No,
dude.
it's kind of cheating if you already know the face that the voice is attached to, but
No.
ScarJo fucking yes,
What do
yes.
you mean? How is that cheating? What the fuck?
Because
What do you
because
what?
when ScarJo's moaning in the fucking
Oh
movie
my!
theater,
Oh, so you're just
what
talking about the sexual shit because you're a horny bastard. Oh my
I was
god.
like 14 when I watched
Oh
this
well,
movie,
okay.
motherfucker.
Obviously, so
You
was
goddamn right,
I.
I was a
Yeah,
horny
I'm trying
bastard.
to not be horny as shit on this
I still am a
podcast.
horny bastard. Don't fucking deny it.
Oh, I wasn't gonna. I wasn't gonna. I didn't want to talk about the sex scenes that much in this movie.
Well, I just want to like, goddamn, like.
Okay, for real though. If we are gonna talk about it, sex scenes are really hard to do well, and this is like
I
one of the
disagree.
best sex scenes in like any movie I've seen. Like
Probably. I
it's
think the Team America sex scene is probably my favorite, but this
the
is a
top three
close
sex
second,
scenes
sure.
in movies. Oh yeah,
No,
team.
the sex scene in Crank 2 when they're fucking on the
I haven't
jockey
seen Crank
field.
too.
That's my favorite.
That
That's
sounds
my favorite.
amazing.
Well, in Crank 1 they have sex in the middle of like a highway. So you got
Damn,
that to look forward to.
that's fire.
No,
Yeah,
it's fucking awesome. You'll love Crank, I
I'm
think.
so excited. Yeah,
Um,
I
you're
picked
gonna
up.
love it.
Yeah, I picked up Crank on DVD from a St. Vinny's the other day. Is what Nick is referring to. And
Hell yeah.
I am excited to watch it. I picked up a few other things too. I'm excited to check out that I still haven't. But yeah,
Sex
it's
scenes.
such a really like intimate scene that like does not feel gratuitous at all, which is like I said, I think really hard to do with a sex scene in a movie.
It's a very sweet sex scene.
It's very
Um,
sweet. Um,
um,
and there's just so many like really sweet scenes in this movie of them interacting, and it's really because like Theodore is such a good character. He's
Simp. Oh,
so endearing, dude. He is so fucking endearing to watch. All of the weird little mannerisms he has, the way he dresses, the way he talks, his little fucking mustache, like the way he actually seems like the way that he like describes the world that he sees and like talks about people is so beautiful and interesting to listen to. It just
hmm
it makes this such an easy movie
his
to connect
writing.
with. Yeah, oh my
His
god.
writing is so
It's
good.
all due like a big reason it's due to his writing. It's
hmm
such a genius way
He
of
talking in other people's perspectives,
mhm.
but his writing conveys so human.
It's
And then
so
like that's why he's so good at his job is because um he
he's such a
is
strong empath.
so human with the pen. I
Hmm.
guess I don't know how to
Absolutely.
explain it.
It's
Um,
it like it's really it was really weird. My biggest takeaway rewatching this movie was as obviously I watched this movie also when I was 14 for the first time, and I was obsessed with it, and I haven't seen it since. And on this rewatch, seeing all of the things in this movie, whether it was like mannerisms, quotes, things Theodore does, or just other aspects of the movie, how they've been so heavily incorporated into my mannerisms, things I say, way I act, like weird shit like that. I
the way you fuck your
I
phone.
didn't exactly. I did not know how deeply affected I was by this movie. This movie has it's fucking hooks in me, dude. And every single scene, I was like, "Oh my god!" I didn't remember that I got that from this movie. Like, and that
Is
was
this
like a
your
really, really fun experience. You know?
Is this your favorite Joaquin performance? You would say?
Absolutely, absolutely, it
Hmm.
is. Yeah, no doubt. Um, he's one of the best actors alive. Um, he's definitely in the top 10, potentially even a top fiver, which is kind of crazy to say. But I think he definitely deserves that spot at this point. I love him so much,
Hmm.
and this is just his most beautiful and empathetic and just detailed performance that he's ever done. And it makes it feel, as we've said so often, so human while being really of this other world, because this movie is like a sci-fi movie, it's a futuristic
Oh,
movie,
100%.
and
Yeah.
I love that. This movie,
In a
you
way, it
want
feels
to be him, you want
like
to
a
live in that
wholesome
world.
Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I don't know why I want to be Theodore, but like I do. And like he's a messy person and he has really big faults in his life and things that he does and like bad shit that's happened to him. But like
He's very awkward. He's a
he's
socially
incredibly
inept kind of
awkward,
dude.
but like
That date where he has with
oh
what's her
my
face,
god,
Olivia
dude.
Wilde.
Yeah. That scene is really
It's
beautiful at times
yeah.
and then incredibly
And then she's like,
uncomfortable and so heartbreaking.
well, I mean, she's like straightforward with
I
him,
know
and
that's why it
like,
was so
you're a
heartbreaking.
fucking weirdo, like,
Yeah.
and I think he knows that. Um, and I don't know. I like how fleshed out Joaquin's character is, and
Absolutely.
how realized he is, even if he is so
Hmm.
disoriented. I always had headcanon that he may be like on the spectrum or something.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, because he's like very socially inept, but he's like very good at um, communicating with people through paper and pen,
Hmm.
um, rather than face to face,
Yeah.
and through AI. He's very good at communicating with AI.
Hmm.
Uh, my also have a theory that we didn't see it in the movie, but he like had a cock ring that could attach to his phone, and he was able to like just prop his phone on his dick, and like
What the fuck?
because if he didn't do that, he's a fucking idiot, and this movie gets a 0 from me.
Oh my god, what you I was totally fucking engaged and falling with what you're saying and you fucking whip that shit out. Oh my god, dude. I hate you so much.
I will be at your local stand up every Friday night, so we'll see you there,
Oh, that's
ladies and
so funny.
gentlemen.
Oh my
Well,
god. But yeah, he's such a great character, and him and ScarJo's character Samantha are just so perfectly written and fleshed out. And obviously, those two characters and watching them live life, and also watching their relationship and how it grows and evolves. Um, it's obviously the main centerpiece of the movie, and it's so important that they are fleshed out and good characters and engaging to watch, and they're some of my favorites in that regard of movies of watching, just like couples shit like that. Like they're one of my favorites, and we touched
the
on
best.
earlier like what one of the core themes that's really important in Lost in Translation and in Her is appreciating and loving and accepting the limited time that you have with certain people. Um, and I think that is really beautifully portrayed in this movie to no end. And it's also an incredibly important thing that I think is applicable to so many things, not just relationships like this, just so many different aspects of life. And
I,
I think that'll always
I
stick with me.
I just thought about it, but I also think both movies have a great. You could definitely compare both movies on the way they present their um how do you say honeymoon stage. I would say in each relationship, to being really sweet and wholesome and
Yeah.
adorable. I fucking love that scene where it's where the song that was nominated. I forgot what it's called, but there's like they're like making up lyrics to this song about them flying on the moon, and it's so beautiful. And puts me to tears. And
And what?
um,
I can't. I don't know why I don't know what you're talking about.
really,
And
oh Jacob, when after this
was this in
podcast, just
her
look
or
up
Lost
like
in
Moon.
Translation?
I want to say it's called like Moon Song, and
Well, this was in her, right?
this is her. It's like I'm lying on the
Oh my
moon.
god, with the fucking ukulele. Oh, in the cabin.
Yes.
Oh my
That's
god.
probably my favorite
Oh
scene in the movie
yeah.
where they're like taking a little vacay at a
Yeah.
cabin
Yeah.
and they're just being fucking adorable and making up a song on the spot. And I want to say that song was nominated for a song
I got it right
Oscar.
here. Let's see. It got nominated for screenplay, picture, original score, original song, and production
Yeah.
design. It doesn't say what the original song was though. I don't
I
know.
want to say it was like Flying to the Moon or Lying or no, I think it was just called Moon Song. Moon Song.
I googled Moon Song
Or
and it came up. So,
okay.
um, but anyway,
Anyways,
and just one other thing I want to tap on that I noticed, right
tap it.
now. I don't know why I didn't realize this earlier. Another great thing that makes this such an interesting double feature is that both of these movies only won one Oscar, and it was original screenplay.
Oh
They
yeah.
both won original screenplay, which
Maybe
is
that's why they.
crazy.
Maybe that's why they didn't make it. You can't have two screenwriters uh, be in a relationship. That'll never work.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. Um.
I think that's
That
been
that
proven false.
that's definitely been proven false, obviously. But that is an aspect that's kind of explored in these movies of like,
Yeah,
an artist not being attentive to their spouse. That happens in both movies.
definitely, definitely.
Um.
Especially with Joaquin like being so unreluctant to fill out a fucking divorce paper.
Mhm.
That actually bugged me through the movie. I was
Really,
like, why is this character?
I under
Yeah,
I
because his
completely
character.
understood why he was, and I felt for him.
Why? Because I never like, especially like halfway through the movie, I'm like,
No, I
okay.
mean, I understood why it was taking him so long to just in the
Does he still
snapshot.
have? He
All of the
still.
snapshots that they did of the relationship, were like so beautiful. It really made me feel from like, fuck, dude. If I lived in through those moments and I was having a divorce with that person and I lived with them for that long, like we're childhood friends, went through all that shit together, that's so hard to just like move on from. Um, but like at the
I
same
agree.
time, like he
I agree.
definitely
Okay.
should have signed him earlier. That's undeniable. I'm not defending him,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying I completely understand him and
Well,
I
I'm not.
felt
I'm
for
not. I'm
him.
not accusing him of like
Yeah,
being anything but like lazy. I guess I don't know, or just like unmotivated.
hmm
He's definitely like, uh, he definitely has moments in there that shows like real feelings of like loneliness that I think everyone can relate
absolutely.
to
Another
at
really
some
core
point in their
theme
life.
that's in both the movies dealing with
Yeah,
isolation. You know, like I said,
even
lots of
when
similar themes.
a potential partner slash your husband is like right there next to you at almost all the time,
hmm
you're still feeling isolated. Um, yeah.
hmm
Did you want to rate her? Did you
Yeah,
have
I
anything else you
think
want to say?
I'm trying to think about if I have anything else I want to say about this movie. I think it's a really important movie and a lot of, like I said, a lot of the themes that it deals with about love in this movie and in Lost in Translation both, deals with a lot of similar themes and a lot more than just that as well in both movies.
Hmm.
Um, and I think they're just both so rich. And even though I kind of hate Lost in Translation now, um, it is a really rich movie
No
in a lot of
longer
other
friends with Lost in
aspects.
Translation.
But this movie, I'm pretty sure I made it clear earlier. I think this is a perfect movie. This is a 5 out of 5 for me. I think this movie is really special, really beautiful, and You guys know I'm a sucker
Yeah.
for love stories, and I've talked about it before. The romantic thriller subgenre that I kind of made up. I think both of these movies fall into that. Absolutely. All that means is a story about love and romance that's like dripping with tension throughout a lot of the movie. Um, and I think both of these movies absolutely have that.
Jacob, Spring is your movie.
I know, I know.
Spring is your
I want to
movie.
watch Spring so bad.
Yeah.
Shout out Spring. That was
Shout
on
out,
Nick's
yes,
fucking one of
definitely
his
shout out
favorite
Spring.
romance movies we did a few podcasts ago.
Yeah.
I need to watch that fucking movie. But,
So good.
yeah, her's amazing. This movie is an all-time favorite of mine, and I can't get enough of its aesthetics and style because, fuck, it's beautiful.
What is Spike? What has he done after this?
I don't think he's done anything since her.
What the fuck is he doing? Is he just producing shit?
I don't know. Probably like music videos or some dumb shit.
Oh, is he still funding fucking Vice, or is he still
did
part of
I know
that?
he did a Beastie Boys documentary. I remember that.
Oh, okay, cool. You just bring up your old music videos, weirdo.
Yeah. He did some music videos for Arcade Fire, which shout out
The
Arcade
racist?
Fire, the band. Wait, what?
Are they like
racist?
Nazis or something?
What? Whoa!
Is it like wait? Isn't one of them like a Nazi?
I do not know
Am
much
I
about this
thinking it's-
band. I just know their music, and I think it's pretty good. The few I've heard.
No, I actually know
I
they're
actually
good.
don't know anything about this. That would suck if
I,
that's
do,
true.
I might be spreading false information, but I think one of them might be a
Let
Nazi.
us know. DM us if you know if that's true or not, because that would
Yeah,
suck. Because
yeah,
they did the score for her, and it's really
they
great. That
did.
movie is so sick. On
Yeah.
a technical level, her just all of the tiny details that went into the production design and building the world that they inhabit is such a detailed and crazy cool world that like
It's a world
it's
that
so
I would
easy to
really
get
like to
lost
go
in.
back to.
I would. There's this really great video by Captain Christian. He's this YouTuber. He's probably the best YouTuber I've ever watched. Honest to God, he does not make videos very often anymore. But he
This
just
guy's
makes like
good.
Yeah, he makes just like videos about movies and TV shows, and he picks like a certain aspect of it and dives into the importance of it.
He's one of
basically.
those guys on YouTube that does those film essays
Exactly. He's
that
a
I
film
don't
essay.
get annoyed
He's a
at.
film essay
That
guy.
I don't get annoyed at.
Exactly. It's hard to be a film essay YouTuber and not be annoying. I do not watch
Yeah,
them
it
at
is.
all
Holy
anymore,
shit.
but I literally rewatch this guy's videos all the time because they're so fucking good. And his video on her is really beautiful, and he has this line in the video about the movie makes you have the feeling of being nostalgic for the future, and like that encapsulates the movie so perfectly.
I like that. I like
Nostalgia
that.
for the future. Just
Yeah.
beautiful. Check out Captain Christian. I love his shit. But
Yeah. Shout out
yes.
Captain Crunch, man.
And shout out Spike Jones, who needs to make more movies because he did the
shout
Beastie
out
Boys
Spike
documentary
Lee.
last year. But shout out Spike Lee, one of the best
I
directors
love
working
Spike Lee,
today,
dude.
who dropped one of the best movies of last year, The Five Bloods, and it got completely fucking snubbed at the Oscars besides original score, which makes no sense.
I was gonna say, yeah, it got scored, didn't it? Okay.
Makes no sense. The fact that Delroy Lindo did not get nominated for Best Actor is genuinely one of the biggest Oscar snubs that's happened in a long time.
I agree, actually, with that.
Fucked up.
Also, I think I don't know. Do you want to rate her?
I already rated it.
You said it was
What's
a
your
perfect
rating?
movie.
Perfect
I
movie
guess I
overall.
would give it, if I had to give it a rating, it's like an A+ for me. Yeah,
Good.
I fucking love it.
Good. It better be.
It's amazing. You motherfucker.
It better be. Oh god, dude. I think it's about time we start wrapping this fucking episode up. This is fun.
This is actually a pretty shorter podcast than we've done before.
It was because there wasn't much to talk about in the topic, honestly.
I'm glad we merged it. I think it was needed.
I don't know if we'll merge it completely like this and double features in the future. Definitely for like next episode, which I'll just talk about right now. Next episode, we are going to be talking about the DC cinematic universe. It's about that fucking time. Obviously, we were supposed to do this episode last week when the Snyder Cut dropped. But we're still gonna do it. We're gonna rank all of the DC Cinematic Universe movies.
So I have
and
to
we're gonna
watch the
review
Snyder Cut. I was
I'll
like
watch it
hoping
with
we
you.
weren't gonna do this.
I'll watch it with you. Don't worry. I
Oh
watched it
god.
with my friends a few days ago. I'm not gonna spoil my thoughts on it. It's something. And I'll watch it with you, Nick. Don't worry. So we're gonna be reviewing the Snyder Cut and then ranking all of the DC Universe movies. So DM us in your movies at in the closet WJN on Instagram.
This should be
or
fun.
Twitter.
This should
your
be
rankings
fun.
and your thoughts of that movie. That'll be a really fun discussion. I think Harper's gonna join us for that discussion. He was on the
Oh
Batman
hell
podcast.
yeah.
He's a big
Let's
fan of
fucking
the
go.
DC Cinematic Universe movies, so it's gonna be an interesting discussion to say the least. So
I can't wait to fucking shit on Harper.
that'll be
Let's
really
go.
fun. So please DM us in your lists and also
Yeah.
your thoughts on the Snyder Cut, so we can talk about that at the end of the episode as well as
Is,
we usually try and do.
Did you see Release the Air Cut is a thing
Shut
now?
up. I know. I don't want to talk about it.
Release the Air Cut.
Dude, Suicide Squad trailer 2 tomorrow. That made no sense. Suicide Squad 2 trailer comes out tomorrow.
Oh no shit, does it?
Yeah, James Gunn posted about it on Twitter today.
I'm actually very excited for it.
That'll
See where it
obviously be
goes.
out by the time this podcast airs. So I think I'm gonna post this on like Friday or Saturday.
Cool. Nice.
Fucking yeah, guys.
Let's
this is
end
really
it
fun.
up.
I'm
Let's wrap
so
it.
glad we're back. I'm so glad we're back. Thank you so much if you listen to this episode.
Thank you.
This podcast is just the best thing, and it always makes you fun. And it's been really shitty dealing with shitty things recently and not been able to do this podcast. And I know things are gonna get better no matter what, as they always do, and they're definitely going to. Now that I'm back doing the podcast here with Nick.
We got some big stuff planned too.
Yeah, the next few
We
episodes
got
are gonna be
some-
really fun. Snyder episode. We got the Oscars episode after that.
Yep.
And then
I'm very excited for that episode.
and then
That's
after
gonna be a lot
that
of
we're
fun.
gonna it's May, which is my birthday.
May.
So we're gonna be doing some things with some
It's
of my
gonna
favorite
be
directors.
May.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I'm excited to get back into the swing of things. Obviously, Snyder Cut episode will be out in 2 weeks. Stay tuned for that, guys. Check out, podcast, it's on Anchor, Spotify, YouTube, it's on all that type of shit. A bunch of other different
Check it out.
podcasters as well. Check it out. Obviously, we'll have
Check out
all
the
the links for
TikTok.
everything. Check out the fucking TikTok. I'll be active on there all the time now. I'm gonna be
I won't be.
posting a little thing. It's just me. I'll just be posting 60-second reviews on every movie I watch. So check
Hey,
out that.
if Jacob convinces me, maybe I'll contribute to it when I'm over sometime.
Yeah,
We'll see.
whenever Nick hangs out, maybe we'll do some collab things like that. That'll be
Yeah.
fun. But anyway, you know me, at Jacob Nestor 568, Letterboxd, Twitter, Instagram. Check me out at In the Closet WJN for the podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Where can they find you, Nick?
Nick_sailing everything. You know what it is.
You know what it is. We're wrapping
peace
this
out.
up. I love you guys. See you guys in 2 weeks. Later.
Bye.